Welcome to Feel Seen. We are a digital space designed for artists and creatives who yearn for more. At a time of massive change, what does it mean to create? What role does artistic expression serve for the individual and the collective? On this podcast, we try to answer these questions by interviewing artists on their holistic creative processes, their work, and their personal journey. So where in the world are you at the moment?
Actually, I just arrived in Paris a couple of days ago after almost 10 years in New York. The lifestyle in Paris keeps me a bit more grounded, and it was just the perfect space for me to be in and also to be able to work on Feel Seen.
So tell me, what are you up to these days?
So these days, I'm really dedicating my time to launch this project. So Feel Seen really started 3 years ago. I had this idea of how I can contribute in a more meaningful way after working for 15 years in the fashion industry, having different roles from creative director, creative producer, agent, visual director. And at some point I felt stuck in my career and I was a bit burnt out, and I felt the need to be able to talk with people and to be able to bounce back ideas and really share knowledge and experiences. And Feel Seen for me, it's really building a safe space. It's building this holistic creative mentoring platform where a collective of mentor experts in their field from fashion, art, design, and the creative industry at large will be able to guide and support artists, but also people that just need one session to unlock their potential, or if they have some doubts, or just need different perspective, a new set of eyes for creation of their portfolio, or just for them to understand what will be the next step in the industry.
Amazing. Tell us exactly what Feel Seen is, how does it work?
So actually, Feel Seen, it works almost like a creative therapy. So you can come with your question, doubts, portfolio, and book the mentor that will resonate most with you. And then it's an hour-long discussion, really thoughtful and honest feedback. It's really witnessing and taking the time to address challenges, and also to get to know what's going on in their personal life, personal journey, and how we can help as an expert, help them to just continue on their path.
Okay, amazing. And so as a mentee, you would log on to this platform and find different kinds of people there and see who you resonate with, right? So who would these mentors be?
Exactly. So we're having people from fashion education to fashion design to filmmaking, creative directors. We're going to have people in the design field, architecture field. It's pretty broad, so everyone that goes to the platform can feel seen and can find a mentor that align with, or for me it's really to feature inspirational people and just a way to create also a community of like-minded people, because sometimes a lot of us artists, creative, entrepreneur, we work by ourselves. We're just working from home, we feel a bit isolated, and there's a way to feel that after a session we can have a sense of peace. We can find clarity and really a sense of purpose just to keep us going.
Yeah, I do remember from years of freelancing having these conversations so many times with people being they wouldn't necessarily put it that way, but basically I feel lonely in my practice, I'm dying for some kind of feedback or ping-ponging ideas, and I think it's amazing that now with this platform you'll be able to do that, and furthermore with people that you find really inspiring. And we were talking just this week about how the concept of feeling seen applies as much to the mentee, to the artist who's looking to have a new light shine on their work, but also to the mentors themselves, who more often than not are people who are brilliant, but they're more like on the background. You wouldn't necessarily see them in the press because, as we know in the creative fields, there's always like the front-facing person, like the top person, but for every project there's so many other brilliant minds that you never hear about, but whose knowledge is so valuable. So it's amazing that these people as well will get to share their gifts and their insights with the younger generations or with people from other fields.
Absolutely. I think it's a way to shine a light on them as well, because sometimes they are behind the scene, but they are doing amazing work and they work hard and they have an amazing stories. And I really believe in sustainable mentoring in a sense, like as people in the creative industry, we get asked to review portfolios, to give advice, free advice sometimes, and we meet a lot of people. And for us, it's also to share this knowledge, but also mentoring as to be sustainable for the mentor as well. For me, I want to put forward the human aspect of the platform. The human connection, the one-on-one exchange, but also we're going to work on more in-person events, talks, dinner, and just like to build space around creativity.
Yeah, I do feel that it's very much needed because, again, like a lot of creative people and artists can be working remotely or feeling lonely, and often the only people that you interact with are people like agents or clients that all are essential but has this very specific type of relationship with you. And it would be amazing to meet other creatives without thinking like, ooh, is this networking, is this are we going to collaborate, is this person going to obtain me X or Y, and just to have like genuine caring relationships from like-minded people. I think there's really a need for that. You talking about like mentorship, you've been talking about that for years. I know that in your career you've been encouraging so many people to like use their portfolio in a nicer way. Like you've always had these same values basically. But do you remember how it all clicked together recently with you being like, oh my God, it is going to be a platform, it's going to be called Feel Seen? Like, it's funny because I feel like you had all the pieces of the puzzle before, but suddenly it all clicked and then you like launched it in a week. So do you remember what caused this breakthrough in a way?
Honestly, I think I did a lot of work on myself and and many experience in my career made me say this I don't want to do anymore, and this is something that I really thrive on. So recently I wasn't aligned with the work project, and Feel Seen was really an outlet and a way to meet new people and to contribute, and this is helping artists. For me, it's something that I've been doing for all my career basically. And when I started Triptyque, my agency in Montreal, the goal was to promote emerging talent, to create community, to put people together on projects. So I always felt like a connector. And it's the same when I used to represent artists, photographers, and creative directors. It was such a close creative collaboration. I never felt like an agent. And I never believe in traditional model. For me, it's like the visual, and how you can convey your story and your voice and the authorship through curation. So this is how I felt Feel Seen was so needed, because a lot of times you have a beautiful body of work, but maybe you don't know how to present it, or how to present it for certain client, or if you're looking for an agency or a gallery, how to talk with industry people, but also to talk with clients, because at the end of the day, we want to make a living with our passion and our art. And I was always a big advocate for artist authorship and their personal work, and I feel really close to them because I am an artist myself. I love taking photographs, and it's like this is also my creative outlet. And we started to work together. We collaborate together in New York for years and years, and we became such close friends. And really, we share the same vision, and we share the same vision for creative and artist, but also on the holistic way of bringing this project to life.
Amazing. And so if we were to go back in time a little bit, because obviously now we've been through a lot, we're in our mid-30s, but do you remember what got you into this field, like into the creative industries at large? What led you to pursue this type of career?
I was always a super creative kid, very intuitive, and I was just curious. So I was trying everything, like painting, dancing. I was watching runway shows, and I was taking pictures of my friends when I was 15. It really made me dreams to look at magazines like Vogue, and so I was always super attracted by that. And then I just started a company at 21 years old in Montreal, because I was just like, there's one way to do it my way. It's just to start it. And what I've learned is like, we all need support. We all need guidance. Even if you're accomplished in your field, you never stop growing, you never stop evolving. And I was really like always keen to try new things and flexible, but at some point I was lost, because I'm just, but what do I love really? And for me, it's curating and this exchange with people and building connection and relationship.
Absolutely. But just to circle back on like the evolution of your career, because I feel like it's really interesting how you had this instinct, as you say, like, I know I belong here, I know I'm meant to work in like film, fashion, music. But I do feel like when you're a kid and you don't have anyone around you who does this type of job, maybe you're confused, because you're like, I know that I belong there, but I have no idea what I would bring to the table. And especially for you, because your job title anyway changed a lot year after year. But this intuition, this pull was always for you to create beauty and in a way like highlight that in other people's work. But so how did you go from like dancing with your friends and like creating beautiful images to launching your company? Like, what was the initial, did you have like a business plan or anything? Was it just like, let's just see what happens? Because yeah, I just want to understand how you went from dancing at your parents' place to finally now launching this mentoring platform, and God knows how it's going to evolve in the year. But I feel like there's been many, many steps in that road.
Mm. I mean, it's interesting because for me, it's the people I met along the way that opened doors or made me realize where I belong, you know, in a good and a bad way. You know, sometimes you meet people that are so amazing and you feel you can trust them, but sometimes you end up in toxic environment, and that makes you also evolve. So honestly, I never had like a perfect path or perfect plan or business plan. I think I'm a dreamer that make things happen in a sense, and I'm very ambitious, but sometimes I need to take the time to stop and reevaluate where I want to go and where I want to be. It's also important to tell people that it's okay not to stay in an environment that is toxic or that you don't feel aligned with. It was a massive work on my self-worth, because once you work and you ask yourself question, you evolve, and then you say, is that job title right for me? And I was okay to walk away from being visual director at Vogue US. Even if people were saying, you're crazy, it's an amazing opportunity, but you need to realize what makes sense for you and what brings you peace and joy at the end of the day. So I had many title change, as you said, but my integrity and the way I was seeing the potential in artists and beauty and how to create meaningful project was always the same. And we work in this industry that is sometimes so superficial. After Vogue, I took a break and I was just like, okay, but what do I really want, and what do this world need also? And I feel seen It's something that people are craving right now, especially.
Absolutely. So let's dive a little bit more about this idea of toxic situations in work, in life. As you said the other day, we don't know a single one of our friends who work in the creative industries or even in other industries who hasn't been through one of these. Do you want to tell us a bit more about how that worked out for you?
I think it's a power dynamic, and I'm someone that is so fair, and I don't believe in traditional model. I don't believe in hierarchy. You can be your best self if you have the right people around you, and of course there's jealousy, envy, and it's like who's gonna be at the top, but honestly, once you're aligned with your creative endeavor or with your purpose, you will make money. You will find your people. You will get out of these relationships. But we need to be okay to lose some people or some opportunity along the way. I feel seen, it's also a reminder because all these mentors on the platform, the collective we're building, they are all amazing people at the top of the game, but they all have similar stories and they all had shifts in their journey in life, or they were like focusing more on wellness and mental health, and it's really important to highlight that, because to talk about these issues will make their work even more meaningful.
Absolutely. And I saw that in both of our careers, but I feel like when you're young, you kind of have these maybe more rigid ideas about that's what I'm supposed to do. And maybe you stay in these relationships or dynamics longer because you don't really trust that you can follow your intuition or your feelings. But I feel like the more you do it, the more it becomes like so obvious and so fast where you're like, okay, next, it's not aligned, it's not aligned. And like everything in life, like you get used to it and it becomes not comfortable, but less unbearable. And you can prove yourself over and over again that you can not start all over because you always have this space, but that you trust that something's better is always next. And it certainly proved right for both of us and all of the mentors that we have in mind at the moment.
Definitely.
But if someone was listening right now and was going through one of these toxic situations at work, in life, having been in those situations, would you have any advice for them?
First of all, it's when you recognize that you're in these environments, this is where you can shift, and having the right community and the right people around you. With Feel Seen and the mentors, we bring this like very gentle accountability. It's like having friends that were just, hey, did you think about that? In retrospect, these conversations led me to reflect and led me to change. So the advice I always give is reach out to people you admire, reach out to people you trust, and build a safe space around conversation, and be fully honest with yourself as well. At the end of the day, it's just a name on your resume, and if you're not happy, it's not gonna bring you the peace you need ultimately.
Yeah, absolutely. But as you were saying before, like you evolve with like the grounding and the safety of community and of all the good things in your life. But sometimes also these online situations, they can also make you grow, because like a mirror, you look at it and you're like, oh, well, now I know that this is not for me. And it's only by going through these different things over and over in your life where you kind of like have the purest version of what you're meant to be. But you kind of need to experience maybe not toxic and horrible situations, but you need to experience unalignment just to guide you back. Do you feel like that happened to you after some bad experiences?
Absolutely. But you know what? Looking back, I have no regret. And even from my childhood, I knew that I will be in New York and Paris. I don't know why, but it just happened. And sometimes you're making a move that is uncomfortable at first, but then it ends up being the best move of your life. Because you're meeting the people that will shape your future. in good or bad way. But even if it's like, let's say, a bad work experience or a project that didn't fully align with you, it's going to help you go to the next step. And a lot of people that you will meet along the way, you'll be so grateful for. And this year especially, because I had a lot of ups and downs, I just realized how in friends and your creative community is important, and it's really something we have to cherish. And the most important is just to make sure you can nurture yourself, take care of yourself first, and then nurture other people.
Absolutely. And in that vein, did you have in your journey like some mentors that really helped to guide you and shape your career?
When I was younger, I didn't have mentors, really. I feel for me now, my mentors are the friends that I have around me and the amazing women and men. But I have a lot of super strong, powerful women in my life that are showing me that everything is possible. And they are thriving, and I really look up to them. So you have mentors all your life, but you need to find them. And you need to be open also to meet very different people. This is why we're opening Feel Seen to the whole creative industry, because even if you're into photography or fashion, you might be interested in architecture and design as well.
And then did you ever feel so far on your journey in your career, did you ever really feel seen for what you are and for what you can offer creatively?
I'm also more like a behind the scene person, and for me it's really uncomfortable to be on camera or to have my portrait taken. It's really it's absurd because I'm working with images and photographer for the longest time, but also when I started to realize that I am an artist. I'm not just an agent or a curator or visual director. I'm an artist, and this is why I can understand them so well, because I feel we're just speaking the same language. And I felt seen, I think, when my friends or other people started to say, oh my God, I really love your photography. I really love your work. And I even had a curator wanting one of my artwork for an exhibition at the Museum of Contemporary Art of Montreal for an auction. So I was just like, oh, I feel seen now, because it's just this validation that you can do everything you put your mind to it. And but still, this project will also help me heal this part of me and will help me to feel more seen.
Amazing. And so going back, because I think I'm also struggling with the same subjects, and I think a lot of other people are, going back to this idea and this realization of being like, oh, actually I'm an artist. When did it really land for you? Because you have been taking amazing photography for so long and posting it, and everybody loves it. Everyone talks about it to you all the time. But so what was it? What was the moment where you're like, oh, actually it's true? Was it your friends telling you this? Was it your photographer friends telling you this? Was it the fact that suddenly it was like printed on a big piece of paper and sold at an auction at a prestigious museum? Like, what part of it? When did it really land for you?
It's all of it, all of that together. And it took me a long time. I didn't believe in myself enough. Mm-hmm. And I come back to this idea of self-worth, right? When maybe your self-worth is lower than what it should be, you don't see your potential. But the fact is, I didn't fully see my own potential, but I see the potential in everyone else. I care a lot about the work. I care a lot about people. And sometimes this is also draining, because you give a lot to others, and then you don't focus on what's your real intention and what's your sense of peace. But it's also always pushing others. With Feel Seen, there's a balance. There's a balance. There's a win-win situation for mentors and mentee. For me, leadership is kindness, And I think this industry will be so much better if there will be a little bit more of that.
Absolutely. And so getting back to this idea of community that's been like kind of a theme of this conversation so far, do you at the moment work with other people? Like, how is that looking for you? Because you used to be an agent, now it's not the case anymore. How do you organize collaborations on the daily?
So it depends on the project, but I'm craving collaboration. I think we are just stronger together in a sense, like having this exchange and this ping pong of ideas. And it's so important. And for me, if I create a portfolio, I really work hand in hand with an artist. If I'm doing consulting for a brand, it's directly based on their brand book, their voice and insight on the industry and the trends. So I tend to just bring expert and more people that I trust with me. It's creating an ecosystem around a project. I keep inspired. I just go to galleries all the time. It's really nourished my soul and also can help me to give better insight or to give better recommendation to a gallery, a brand, or an artist.
Absolutely. And so I know that the goal of Feel Seen is ultimately to build our dream creative community that is caring and has the same values and everything. But do you currently feel like you have an existing creative community?
I have a community in New York. I have a community in Paris. But for me, because I also love to travel, and even when I was young, I thought globally. I never thought just about Montreal. I thought about the international. So Feel Seen and having a digital community just help creating more links in different part of the world, which is so important. I love to learn about new cultures, new aesthetics, different way of living, different perspective, and then you bring that with you into your mentoring, you know? So it's like, it's not just one-sided. It's like you need to be curious, see a lot, be out in the world to bring this back with a better understanding. There's every time we talk about the project, I feel there's a lot of people around us that are just like, oh my God, I would love to mentor, or I would love to talk to someone. Based on also all the research I've done and talking to different people in the industry, saying like, it's really needed. And this is why we're doing this.
Do you ever lose track on your creative projects? Maybe you're a professional artist or creative, but what used to be your passion now feels uninspiring. Or maybe you decided to pursue a safer career path, but you just know you have that artistic side of you that's dying to come out. At Feel Seen, our mission is to get you back in touch with your creativity, your flow, and your purpose. If you are ready to feel seen, we offer one-on-one holistic mentoring sessions designed to reconnect you to your inner artist. You'll find all the information at the link in the show notes. We hope to see you soon. So I wanted to dive a little bit more in your daily routine. Like, how is a regular day looking like for you?
There's no routine. No, in a sense, it really depending on the project I have at the moment. But I really like to take my time in the morning. I listen to podcasts. I'm also into astrology, so I like to look at that for a little bit. I always also look at the exhibition or openings of the week, just to get some inspiration, some flow, creative flow going. I spend time on research and then emailing, and after that I really like to just have real deep conversation with collaborator, with you. But every day is a bit different. I'm not someone that follow a pattern. I'm much more go with the flow, but I feel it's been working for me.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you next, like, has it ever been difficult for you to work like on your own remotely? I know you've been doing that for your whole life, so it probably roles for you, but I know that there's so many artists and creatives who feel like when you're working from home, you're working remotely, you make your own schedule, you can do everything you want at whatever time of the day. It can also become stressful and depressing, and you can feel alone, a bit lost, a bit like you're lacking structure. Did you ever experience that at all? And if so, do you have techniques to avoid that?
A lot. Especially recently when I was in New York, I was living by myself in Chelsea, and sometimes you live by yourself, so you're just like right away you're in your work environment, but you're also in your personal space. So it was really difficult for me to separate both. So this is why I forced myself like just to grab coffee with potential client and collaborator and like really go outside of my space. Especially as an artist, it's you need this brainstorming session, you need the second opinion. You need people to say, hey, yeah, you're going in the right direction, or oh, maybe try this. This is why a lot of people are depressed or really got depressed working from home by themselves because they don't have this human connection.
Yeah. And outside of the, like on a creative point of view, you need stimulation, you need brainstorm and stuff, as you mentioned. But there's also like the very basic human needs that you have in the day, which is getting some fresh air, seeing some light, and I don't know. When you are in a situation like you mentioned in Chelsea, in your own space, do you have techniques unrelated to like the creative practice and art and all of that? Do you have just like, yeah, I guess a kind of hygiene just to make sure that your body is at peace and safe and that you remain just grounded even on a biological level?
For me, it's I find peace just walking. I walk a lot and looking around me and taking pictures. And I take picture with my iPhone because this is my medium, but just to look at people, especially in New York and in Paris, it's so inspiring. Just walking around different neighborhoods, for me, that really ground me. I listen to a lot of music. I love music, so it's like me going on a walk, listening to music or a podcast. Listening to podcasts really open my horizon, especially around mindfulness. When you listen to a podcast and you can relate to someone that is going through the same thing as you don't feel alone or you feel less alone. So I think this is really important for me.
Interesting. So in a way, like your biological stress and like biological state and like stress level and all of that is really linked to the art, the culture, and the community, basically, because you kind of, it's like you don't separate the two. Did you ever have moments in your life where you were feeling less good on maybe in your physical health, mental health, and how did that affect your art practice and your sensibility?
As I said previously, when you feel stuck, you're in like freeze mode, right? It's really hard to activate any project or to be in the flow state or to create or even to write something or to take pictures. And when you're not in the mood and you're a bit depressed or you feel stuck in your head, it's really hard to get the inspiration. So my advice will be like move your body, talk to friends, because the thoughts in your head can be really destructive. And this is why a lot of people, they feel like they need to hold back and they cannot like pursue their creative practice the way they want it. So this is why you need to create these little like pockets of joy in your day to keep inspired. And I read this amazing book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and in the book she's telling that everyone should go on an artist date. And when I started to do that and really prioritize my creativity and my practice, this is when it started to unlock for me. And obviously Rick Rubin is a big inspiration. There's so many great people now that are putting mindfulness at the forefront of creativity, and this is what I'm super inspired by.
Interesting. And so you mentioned a couple times that you need to put yourself in the right environments to kind of get inspiration, right? And so could you explain or articulate how it feels when you feel the pull? Because you felt the pull to go to New York, you felt the pull to start a company. And when you capture a photography on the street, as you do every day, could you describe how it feels like? Is it a rush? What does it feel like?
Sometimes I take a picture and I look at the image and feel, oh my god, this is a gift. Like, it's just so perfect, and the fact that I was there to witness it. So it's almost like I'm channeling something that is bigger than me. It's really, as you said, it's like a pull, something that I cannot fully explain. So it's a mix of intuition. It's like a gut feeling, and I feel it in my body. And more because my intuition is getting like better, I feel, working on myself and on the blocks maybe. Now I know it more quickly.
Yeah, you're honoring it. But it really feels, I mean, looking at it from an outsider, because we like wander on the streets all the time, and we've been doing that for 10 years now, so I know how you work. But it's so funny because you're really inspired by cities and by people. But I remember a common friend telling you, like, you see things so clearly and in a way that is so unique. And we could all walk on the same street at the same moment, see the same things, and somehow you're going to extract just the one angle and the one light and the one movement that's going to make it amazing. And it really looks like you're like kind of a beauty hunter and you're always like on the lookout. And that's also why you work with an iPhone, because it's just like so fast to get out of your pocket. But it's really like watching a hunter, always like so aware and being like, oh my god, this is so beautiful. And sometimes you miss it, sometimes you get it, sometimes, as you say, you're almost stunned by catching just the right perfect thing. But yeah, it's amazing to watch, and it really does look like you have this rush that you don't even conceptualize, or you just hunt and sometimes catch something beautiful.
Absolutely. And I'm not a trained photographer, so I want to tell everybody that feels sometimes discouraged. Everything is possible if you have this pull, just try it. And I never even seen myself as a photographer before, but even the fact that photography is really the medium I love the most, and I feel so connected with this visual way of telling story that it makes sense for me that it's easy. It's also to tell artists or emerging artists or people that work a corporate job but wants to develop their creativity that it's okay to try. And the more you try, the more you're going to develop it. Because if I look at my pictures, even from 5 years ago, it's not as good as today. And I feel it's just this evolution of you keep trying and you're going to get better at your craft. And if you enjoy it and it's your passion, it's for sure it's going to lead to something.
And it's also interesting because I feel like there's been this evolution with how you now consider it an art practice. But did you ever at some point think, oh no, this is my job and this is something outside of my job? Did you kind of like segment creativity in little boxes like that, being like, this is my job, this is not my job? Or do you feel like it's this kind of like holistic creative practice, and for some aspects of it you get paid, others not, and it doesn't matter because everything is feeding each other? Did you always feel like that?
No, because before I was always hiding behind an artist, a project, a company. Now I feel, because I'm more comfortable in my practice and in the way I think, the way I see, I feel that I just accepted that my gift and my purpose is to help artists, because I have this taste level and I love curating. So now I feel it's much more holistic, because Feel Seen is the sister company of my agency Triptyque. We work together on many different projects, including this one. I'm trying to really build this like community to, of course, for Feel Seen, but then it's probably future collaborator for cultural projects, for exhibition, for photo books, for a brand. So for me, it's this network of amazing, talented people that we both believe in so much can also help on more commercial project. I'm also building my agency and I want to build cultural projects that will resonate. So everything that I'm doing now moving forward and Feel Seen is also the priority. It's to feel good and be really proud of every project that I'm working on.
Do you have like a project in your career so far that's the highlight or the one that you're the most proud of?
There's not like one project in particular, but when I started to work with Vogue India, with Mega, she gave me creative freedom. So I had the opportunity to present and commission photographers that never have shot for Vogue. So we did this beautiful issue around the LGBTQ community in India with the documentary photographer Kalpesh Latigra. And it was so powerful, and the fact that we could highlight the LGBTQ and trans community in India was for me one of the most beautiful projects.
If you think about it, it's always the same values and pillars of your work, right? It's shining a light on people who are invisible. It's using photography and beauty to tell a story. It's like putting the right talents together to create something beautiful. I mean, it's always the same things that drive you. So it's interesting.
And create certain harmony, because you can create beautiful images, but you can work with toxic people.
That
you know,
too.
I feel like I'm a translator for brands, publication, and artists to create a safe environment, but also the goal is to create beautiful images, right? And or just like have an impact. Like for me now, I'm working on creating these dinner series with amazing female creative entrepreneurs. It's also curation of talent, the right place, the right food, the right music, but also it's the right company, you know, the right people. And I really believe in doing business organically. I always thought about merging art and commerce in a seamless way, and now I'm doing it in every aspect of my work.
And speaking about commerce, I think it would be interesting to dive a little bit more into making an income from your practice, especially when you've been talking about so far how it comes naturally to you, it feeds you, it's your passion, it's what you do all the time. How has been your journey around making money from that, and how is that looking like currently? Are you making a full income from your creative endeavors?
I mean, making money from your art and your passion, it's not the easiest, but it's possible. It's like having projects that really nurture my creativity. Maybe I'm doing it just for myself, and maybe I see it as an investment on my future as well. The energy of an environment, the energy of people I collaborate with is super important. I mean, for sure, everyone needs to make money. And I think there's a way to do it in a more meaningful way. And it's okay to try different things and open different portals and see what sticks and what doesn't. But I really believe that if you give your heart and soul to something that you love and you wake up every day and you're just like, you're convinced and you're manifesting it, I feel you can achieve a pretty high salary.
Yeah. Absolutely. So let's talk more about your inspiration and what keeps you alert on the daily. I know you've talked a lot about having communities and conversations and going to museums and galleries, seeing art, listening to podcasts. But would you have like recommendations for people who are like, where do I start for all this? Like any particular podcast that you like or a book that really changed your views on creativity? Do you have specific advice?
There's so many. I'm really, I have a big photo book collection and I just like to discover new artists. Also, artists from the past and look at archival pictures as well. I'm inspired by Bonnie Horn, Louise Lawler. One of my dream is to build an artist residency. So I was always really inspired by Michael Schmidt, the photographer that started this adult education center that was a residency. And he was really working with the best photographer at the time. And I feel like the way he built it, it was really based on creative freedom. It wasn't hierarchy. Everyone was like brainstorming together. So it really felt like family around a big dining table, sharing a meal, brainstorming about an exhibition, a publication. So everything was intertwined. There wasn't any like competition. So this book, if you want to look at it, called Workstat for Photography, it's really inspired also my agency Triptyque and this model of being holistic in the approach, and then it's a massive inspiration for Filsing, obviously.
Amazing. And would you say that this period, the 70s, is it like your favorite era of photography history? I know it's quite a recent medium, but it's been through a lot already. Do you have like a specific time that inspires you the most?
I don't have a specific time.
Or movement, or no?
I'm so inspired by Marianne Goodman, the gallerist, and our taste level and the artist she represents. Everything she created and the branding of the gallery and herself, and I read that her loyalty to the artist and passion and dedication was really exceptional. I want to work until I'm 96 if I can, and it's just like building this framework that is led with passion and beauty and kindness, I think will make me work until I'm not able to work anymore.
Amazing. And so when you're like bridging your icons from the past or the present and staying curious of everything new that is going on, obviously now we have so many changes in the world, including the rise of AI in creation that is raising a lot of questions about how all of our practices are evolving. How do you see in this context the evolution of creation?
More than ever, we need community. Because AI will give us the tools, it will give us new ways to make our life easier, but you will never have this human connection with AI. And just taking the time to grab a coffee with your best friend and say, hey, what do you think about this for Phil Scene? It's like, hey, I cannot do that.
Absolutely. And so this, again, this idea of community that seems to be so strong for you, would you say that's like your leading value, like the number one thing that you wake up for in the morning that you're looking for in your life, or is there something else?
My number one value is freedom. This is why I'm building my life around being free, being able to create my job, create my circle of people, create beauty around me, collect prints, art, the freedom also to move, to not be anchored in one place only, but to go to Tokyo for a project, to go to India for another, to come back in my home in Paris to rest and be inspired, go to New York to meet people and go to dinners. So this freedom creates also this sense of this energy in me. And this is why I really want to cherish that.
Amazing. Okay, another deep question. What would you say is your purpose, if you know?
I think my purpose is to help more people seeing their full potential. And that includes artists. And I think it's curating an environment where beauty and my aesthetic and my sensibility can also be expressed to its fullest.
And it's also beauty, because I feel like we've both evolved on that topic, but it's on the aesthetic level, but also in terms of the mood, and it's beautiful inside and out. It's not just like pretty things on the walls with toxic people inside them, you know.
Yes, we need more kindness in this world.
And what do you think beauty, which seems to be a leading theme here as well, what do you think it serves for? Is it useful? What's the role of beauty in this world?
It helps you dream. And my idea of beauty is so poetic. And this is why when I catch a moment on the street, maybe you pass on the same corner and you don't see it, because I'm really looking at the poetry. And beauty, it's in every little moment. I see beauty as a more democratic way of building a universe that you can feel good in. This is why everything I do and every project I'm doing, there's this sense of aesthetic and taste in it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Roxanne.
Thank you. It's been such a pleasure to talk about Feel Seen with you, and I look forward to meet everybody that will join us.
That's it for today's episode. We thank our guests for their trust, and we thank you for being a part of our community. If you like this episode and want to support our work, consider ranking our podcast on Apple or Spotify. And if you know someone who could benefit from this conversation, please share our work with them to help them spread the dream of a conscious, creative community. Talk soon.